This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hello everyone. So very good morning to all. So in today's session, we have to discuss about a concept called events. But in entire JavaScript, this is also one of the very important concept. What exactly an event is and what is the purpose of an event, right? So in the last session, we discussed about a function, right? What is a function and what is an event? I think it look like same, right? There is a marriage function, there is a birthday function, there is a birthday event. See, almost all the word and the meaning is the same. It look like the same function and an event. So I'm going to take a function or an event. We can say generally in our wordology, when you are speaking regularly, we will use these words. There is a function or there is an event, right? There is a function is running, there is an event is running, whatever it may be, we will use the word. Here, JavaScript is providing some predefined events. Events in the sense, when we are interacting on the DOM, so there are going to be some events will be defined by the JavaScript while interacting with the DOM. JavaScript is providing and JavaScript is saying that some events. There are a lot of events are there, guys. Some of the events I want to tell you, you may know about form events. So you may know about mouse events, right? You may know about the keyboard events, something like this. So keyboard events, right? There are a lot of events are there, animation events, load events, page events, or whatever it may be, guys. But these are the major events we are going to discuss in our concept. But later we are having so many events. But right now, maybe in 2 3 sessions, we will discuss about all these events, right? So you can see how we can manipulate the DOM by using these things. You will understand slowly. Right. So now once events, right? So that you can see mouse events, form events, keyboard events, and after that animation events also there. So animated events. You may know about audio and video player events. There are a lot of events are there on audio and video, and drag and drop events also there. What exactly drag and drop events are there? These are also some events are there we are having exactly. So like this we are having so many number of events. Drag events, drag and drop. So I want to simply drag and I want to drop an element. So audio player, video player events, animation events, like this different type of animations, guys, are there. But these are the regular events we will discuss: mouse events, form events, and keyboard events. So first of all, what are the mouse events, if you can tell me? Generally, what we can do by using mouse, we can click on a button, or we can double click also, right? In some places we need to do double click also. What we can do, we can move the mouse movement, okay? We can hover the mouse, we can remove the mouse, right? We can remove the mouse or whatever it may be. I'm just writing some points actually. We can remove mouse from an element. See, these events all are going to be used here to interact with an element. On click the element, for example, there is a button is an element now. On click the button, on double click the button, on mouse over the button, on mouse move the button, on mouse remove from the button. It's not only a button, it may be a div also, it may be any other, guys. How many number of elements are there in HTML? On all the elements we can apply these events, not only on a button, not only on a div, not only on something. So each and every element in HTML, I don't know how many elements are there, on every element we can apply these events. But remember, these events applied on only audio and video tag only, not on everything. And you can see the mouse events can be applied on every element, definitely. So these form events are going to be, especially when we are working with the forms, registration form, login form, and contact form, and everything. In the registration form, we will submit the button. On submit the form, what I want to do, there are some other events, focus event, keyboard events. So what are the keyboard events? Generally, the keyboard events, we are key pressing, right? We are key pressing. So key press is an event, and we can key press and release, nothing but that is going to be key up is also an event. So key press, key up. When I am pressing what I want to do, when I press and release what I want to do. Exactly. The form events, when we are interacting with the input form fields, on select the value from the drop down, on check the checkbox, on check the radio button, right? So what you want to perform, these are all come under the events, guys, right? So with the events, I want to discuss a small concept also, guys, here. As of now, I'm saying you what is this is, we have to know about very very important concept is going to be inner HTML and inner text as well. This is also very very important. I will talk about one more method. As of now, we are discussing about document.write, right? Document.write for printing the output. But this time, I want to talk about the first one method, get element by ID. What is this method? Later we will talk about it. Don't worry. Get element by ID in the document. So what is this is? This is the document. In the document, you may have many number of elements. From these many number of elements, I want to find one element based on the ID. But there are a lot of ways are there to find DOM elements. But right now I'm talking about only one method. The method is going to be get element by ID, inner HTML, inner text. Inner HTML and inner text are the properties, right? So get element by is the method, ID is the method, and the events. First let us talk about the click event, and after that we can go for the one by one. So that click event only, if you can understand one event, I think remaining will be very very easy for you, and we don't need to worry about the events and all its functionality, guys. It will be very easy. Just we can go and bind an event to the element. Now we can check this. This is going to be head tag open, head tag close. Now you can take this as the title tag open, title tag close, simply JavaScript events. JavaScript events. Okay, right. So this is going to be body tag open, body tag close, body open, body close. Now inside of it, I'm taking a div and div ID equal to, I'm taking this as a main. Okay, I have a div called main. I'm taking one more thing called section, and section equal to something. Section ID equal to section only. You can take any ID, no problem, guys. Here I'm taking element as section, ID also section, no worries. It's not a problem at all here. Okay, right. You can take anything. I have two elements are there. Okay, let me keep one h1 tag also. JavaScript events. Exactly, I'm taking something like this. JavaScript events. If you want, you can design. We know very well about the design also now. Let me do one thing. If you want to wrap everything into one div, yes, you can wrap this everything into one div. Don't worry. Just I'm wrapping this into a container class. Class equal to container, container, container. Don't worry about it, guys. Just I'm wrapping all these things into one div. Let me write some inline style. This is all about CSS only. I'm not writing any JavaScript here as of now, right? Wait for some time. So we will come here. Let me do something here. So JavaScript events, right? Let us go for the style dot container, container container. So don't worry, you know CSS very well, right? So I'm writing just CSS only. And how we can work with JavaScript and all, you can wait for some time. Let me organize these elements properly. For all these three elements, there are three elements in the container div, h1 and div and section, right? So now you can see here in this, I want to have some background color. Okay, let me take some background color hash ef. Okay, and some padding. I'm taking padding 10 pixels all four sides. Width, I'm taking something called 85 percentage, and margin 0 pixels auto. It should be center automatically. So we know, right? Exactly. I think if you can preview this, I believe you can see the following output maybe. Yeah, JavaScript events. Perfect. And okay, fine. If you want, you can design main div also, dot main, dot main. So I'm going to make some padding here. So padding 10 pixels. Let me have some background color. Background color is going to be hash ef. Okay. Now you can check this. This is also the main div is coming to you. No, it is not coming up. because we didn't write anything in the main, right? Maybe the reason I think it is not coming, but I set padding na. EF background. Oh, sorry. Main is an ID kada. So ID means always represented with hash symbol, right? ID represented with hash symbol. For the same style, I'm applying for the section also. Can you see? This is, I'm going to take this as a section also, ID section. Now you can see there is no gap between the elements and elements, right? So let us write some margin top here. Margin top, I'm writing 10 pixels margin top for the main as well as for this also I'm taking. It's just you can see the differentiation, all the, okay. Wait, these are all, I think margin top is okay. Let me write some border also. BORDR, border 1 pixel solid, SOLID solid. And if you want, you can add any color also. Now I am taking the same 1 pixel solid. If you are not having any color, by default black color will be there. If you can refresh, can you see guys here? Actually there is no content actually in the main ID as well as one more is section ID. So that is the overall wrapper. In the overall wrapper we are having two elements, okay. Sorry, three elements actually. The three elements, one is h1, one is a div with id main, one is going to be section with id section, right? This is great, బాగుంది. Now the next thing guys, what we need to do here, so don't worry about the design, you're right. So here let me add some buttons in the container. I'm going to take a button. So this is a button. Try to see guys, this is very important. I'm just going to take something called button. If you are not understanding, please let me know. I will repeat it again and again. So because we are entering slowly into deeper of JavaScript. So if you are unable to understand, and let me know. If you have any doubts also, let me know. After the session completed also, you watch the video and try to understand. Otherwise, still if you didn't understand, let me know. I will repeat the session again and again if you want, seriously. Why? Because this concept is slowly, I want to take you into the JavaScript. So as of now, you learn all the basics, but I told you, but they may be basics, but they're very, very important. Okay, right. Here I'm taking the button with the title click. Okay, you can refresh the page. There is a button click is there. Okay, so if you want, you can write here margin top now, margin top bottom 10 pixels, left right 0 pixels, because I want to, they look like attached together, the button and the boxes. That's why I'm going to make this 10 pixels and 0 pixels. Top bottom 10, top bottom 10 and 10. So now you can check this. Now there is some gap. Button is earlier attached to the border. That's why I'm making something like this, guys. Okay, perfect. Now the next thing guys, here we have, okay, let me minimize this css, it's not required right now, right? On click the button, remember carefully, when I am clicking the button, I want to execute some logic. When on click the button only, on load the page you want to execute, there is a separate event, but I want to execute some logic on click the button. So event, we have to remember here, we have to add an event to an element, what is that element? Button element. This is an element to button element. We have to add an event to a button element, or technically we can call like this also, we have to bind an event. So people will call also like this guys, we have to bind an event, or we have to attach an event to an element, whatever it may be. Some people will call you like this, attaching or binding or adding, and everything will be the same meaning guys, right? We have to add an event to button element. Not only element, we have to add an event to an element, any element guys, that may be any element. Okay, I don't want to take only button element, it could be any of the element from your document. We want to add an event to an element, that's all. Whatever the element it may be, I don't know, the element could be, it could be anything, but I want to add or bind or attach. So I mean attach in a sense, when we are interacting with the button, when you are interacting with an element, so the event should be worked. I mean event is nothing but the function. The function should get called automatically. I want to execute some logic. Okay, now you can see, I want to tell you guys here, we know how to create a function. Function, I am writing welcome. Okay, in this function, I simply written a message called alert message, ALERT alert. In this, I am writing welcome to all, something I written. Okay, welcome to all, I written some message like this. Okay, this function I want to execute. So here you can see there is a button. Can you see, all of you? There is a button. Yeah. What is a button here? Click. On click this button, I want to execute this function. This function will be written in JavaScript generally. So how can I write a function in a page? This is going to be in a JavaScript. Script tag open, script tag close. Remember? And this is going to be into the body section. HTML element this is. And this is a JavaScript function. JavaScript functions are always written into the script tag. So function name, something, and v. Now the thing is here, on click this button, I want to execute this function. How can we bind this function to that button element? Not only a button element, you can take any other, whatever it may be, but right now I have a button. So on click the button, I want to execute this function. So we need to add an event to an element. So the event is predefined event is called on click, guys. This is the event name, on click. On click is a predefined event. Remember, it's not defined by you, defined by me. Predefined event by JavaScript, not by you, not by me. So on click, you have to write always like this only. This is the predefined one. On click is an event that is going to be added to an element as an attribute, right? Every event, every predefined event, whatever it may be, guys, every event will be added to an element as an attribute. You know attribute? Generally, attribute, for example, I have a tag button open, button close. Attributes are added closing tag or starting tag. We know always any of the attribute, it may be an ID, it may be a class, or it may be something, whatever it may be, always we can add into the starting of the element. That's we know. In the same manner, what I want to do, I want to add this event on click here of the starting of the element. On click is equal to what I want to do. You want to call the following function, right? Just copy this function and add this into the double quotes. That's all. Then what happened, you know, when we are clicking the button, on click the button, this function is going to be fired. This function is going to be fired, and if the function is fired, automatically the logic you written in the function will be gets called automatically. So this is how we can bind an event to an element. It's the button element. For example, you want to take a paragraph tag element. Yeah, you can take a paragraph tag elements also. On paragraph tag click, so I want to execute welcome function. Yeah, this is also valid, some text on it. On click this number 2342 something, so I want to execute the welcome function. It could be any of the element. That's why I written we have to add an event to an element, or we have to bind an event to an element, we have to attach an event to the element. This is the way of adding the thing. On click, there like this we have so many events are there. Try to understand on click very well. I think remaining things will be very easy for you. Okay, right, guys? So this is what exactly the thing. Let me go to our file. So we are having the following thing, guys. Try to see here. I'm trying to add on click equal to, I'm writing something called welcome function. Okay, you can write any function, but right now I'm writing a simple function with a name called welcome function, and you can go and refresh the page. I'm refreshing the page. I want to open console also. Am I having any error in the console right now? I don't have any error in the console. Okay, console is very clear. So now you can see I'm refreshing the page again. I don't have any error and all. Now I'm clicking the function. On clicking the button, this function is going to be called, right? Now you can see when I am clicking this button, now you can see in the right side there is an error. What is that error? You know, uncaught reference error. Welcome function is not defined at HTML button element on click. These errors are very clear. Read the error message once or twice and you will understand what is the reason why this is giving. See, so many people, how they will practice JavaScript, you know, they won't open the console. They won't open the console, but they're clicking the button. Sir, I'm clicking the button, I'm not getting the pop-up, sir. I'm clicking the button, I'm not getting the pop-up. So the debugging is very important, guys, in JavaScript. Always when you are practicing JavaScript or React.js or Angular, anything, open the console. Open the console always. By opening the console, You can keep this console always enable. If you have any error on the fly, we can solve the error. So many people, what they will do, they will write the whole code without executing anything. They will finally, after writing 100 lines of code, they will execute it. They are getting lot of errors. They don't know which line causing error, why the error is coming and all. So the debugging should be very clear. Now you can say I'm reloading the page again. Now I'm clicking the button, I'm getting error. If you're not open the console, you cannot understand what is the reason. Maybe why this is why the alert is not coming for me. Sometimes, remember carefully, there may be a spell mistakes in the function, or the function may not be defined. Two things, guys, two reasons. The event is not worked means you may not define the function, or there may be some spell mistakes in the function call. Okay, please check the same thing. Right, so now you can see uncaught reference error, welcome is not defined at HTML button element on click. Can you see, guys, they're saying very neatly HTML button element on click, this function is not defined. Okay, now I will go there. You have to define the function. Go to the body, either in the head section, either in the body section. Now I'm going to take script tag, open script tag, close. Okay, now you can see inside of it, you are going to define the function welcome. Right, now you can check this function welcome is defined, right? I'm not writing any logic. Now you can go and refresh the page. I'm clicking this again, the function. Are you getting any error? No error, because function is defined. So you want to execute any logic into the function? Yeah, I want to execute some logic. Simply alert welcome to all. I just written a message. Now you can refresh the page. On click this. Now you can see an alert is coming with a message welcome to all. So this is how we can bind a function to an event. Exactly, guys, this is very important. You need to check this. Just we add something. Okay, so we are having many things are there in the document, right? So you can write any logic also, guys. Here now you want to print something on the screen. Now you can see document dot write. I am going try to see by using this document dot write, I am writing hello world. You can take a paragraph tag or h1 tag here. Now you can see I'm writing welcome to HTML. I'm writing. Even if you want to write console.log also, you can write console.log. So now it is see called. I'm writing something called called. Now you can check this. On click the button, there is a message in the console called. What you want to see? I want to print something. On click the button only. Now you are able to print some output on the console as well. Now you can see in place of this I'm removing. Now you are writing document dot write and you are writing on the something, guys. Here now you can check this. The beauty of this you can see now. You can see, very observe this carefully. Already we have JavaScript events. We have a main div, we have an ID div, right? Sorry, section div, main div and section div, section and button. On click the button. Now what is going to be happen? Can you see? I'm writing h1 welcome to HTML. Can you guys guess what is going to be happen? A little bit. If you have anything, you can guess it. What is going to be happen? Definitely the h1 message will be printed, guys. Whatever the message you written in the console, definitely it will be printed, no doubt at all. Okay, it will be printed. But what is going to be happen? I just want to see here. If I click the button, what is the message you written into this document, right? Welcome to HTML. Definitely it will be printed. But you can see I'm refreshing the page. I'm going to click on the button. Now the problem is this is with the document.write. What it is doing, you understand? It is overriding the complete body elements. Remember carefully. Now you can say, I will show you the DOM here. Can you see? When you're refreshing the page, can you see my right side? In the right side, you are able to see the DOM, right? Exactly. You are able to see the DOM. This is the body. This body contain a class container. In the container, we have h1, we have main, we have something, and we have button. You are able to see, right? When I'm clicking the button, can you observe the body completely overridden with h1 tag? This is the biggest problem with the document, right? We will never use document, right, in real time anywhere. Keep it in mind. That's the reason we don't want to use. Sir, how this is happen? Why it is doing something like this? See, I want to keep the body. See, we written some elements actually. These DOM elements was removed by the interpreter and it is going to be placed into the body. No, no, no. I want to keep all these elements. I want to keep welcome to HTML as well. This is what we're expected actually, but unfortunately the behavior of document.write is going to be, it will be like this. I'm refreshing the page again, I got the same output. If I click the button, this is the problem, guys. Will you use document.write anywhere in real time? No, we will never use document.write in real time, guys. Just for our understanding purpose, okay, we can print and we can leave it, that's all. But for genuine output you want to print on the screen, definitely we will never go with this scenario. Now tell me please, I want to print this output into the div id main only. Into this div only I want to display. But right now this div is empty now, and I want to print something into this section div also. Right? For example, you can see, guys, I want to take two variables here in the function, where or let. You can take let, guys. Let means local variable scope. Okay, I forget to tell you, but don't worry, I will talk about later. Where I am taking text1 equal to, I am taking an element h1 open, h1 close. Okay, this is a main div. Okay, this is main div. I'm taking a text like this. Let me take one more variable where txt2 equal to, try to see, I'm taking one more h1 tag open, h1 tag close. This is a section, this is section. Okay, section actually, but I'm writing simply section. Okay, these are the two variables are there. Text1 variable I want to bind into here. Exactly, the main div is empty, but in the main div I want to keep the element. Text2 I want to keep into the section. In the section is also empty, there is no element in the section, there is no element in the main. Now how can we keep this h1 tag inside the main div? So first of all, do guys, I think you got the clarity why I am going like this. I written document.write, but it is giving a different output for me. It is overriding complete DOM and is keeping that h1 tag. No, I don't want to keep like that. I want to keep text1 into the main and text2 into the section. So I don't, even though if I click the button, everything should be there, but the DOM should get updated. The main div should get updated with the text1. The section should get updated with the txt2. Now, in this point of time, you can see, first of all, we have to access the element. So we know we have some information txt1, we have some information called txt2. I want to bind this information to main id, right? So how can we find an element? There is, I know what is the text I have to bind to an element, I know that, but to which element you want to bind? There is an element called div. How can we identify the element div? By using its id now. In a document you may have many number of elements, but I want to identify only specific element by using its id is always unique. That's the reason we will use id. There may be so many divisions may be there, 100 divisions are there, but in this 100 divisions I want to find only one element only. There are 100 students in the class. 10 students may have same name, but their id is same, definitely not same. So always you have to take id to an element uniquely. You cannot take something like this. Okay, now you can see this is the div id equal to main and section is equal to something section. So now I want to find element from the DOM. This is all the DOM. From this DOM, I want to find an element. To find the element, we have a method, guys. Document dot get element by ID. Element by ID. Can you see? In this document is an object. Get element by is ID is a method. Get small g element E capital by B capital I capital. JavaScript is case sensitive programming language. Even if you are doing a small mistake, total things will be terminated. So you can't get any output, guys. So whatever the method, whatever the syntaxes you are following, you have to write as it is, right? So I want to find an element, get element by ID, or else get a student by ID. Class dot get student by ID. So in JavaScript, I'm writing document.getElement by ID. I want to identify the element.main. This is exactly, guys, right? You can see. So now, if you want, I will tell you where what I want to take this. You can take first. Okay, you can take any name, any variable here. First. First is equal to something I taken. Shall we print this in the console? Console.log first first. I'm printing in the first. Can you see, guys, here? I'm not using document.write. we know what will be happen if I use document.write. I'm using console.log. If I write document.write, what will be happen? Everything will be override with the particular thing. That's the reason I'm writing this is. I told you one thing. Do you remember starting of the session in JavaScript? Sorry, in HTML, everything is an element. In JavaScript, every element is treated as an object, right? I told you. Do you remember? Every element in JavaScript will be treated as an object. Now you can see, I am getting the element. Get element by ID main. What is a main? Actually, it's a div element. Every element, it is going to be the first is going to be an object, guys. Now you can see in the console, on click the button, you are going to get the main div. Can you see? You are going to get the complete main information. This is the main div information. You're getting that. So like this, you want to get the second one also. Let me get the second one also. It is going to be, what is the ID? Section. Let me take this as let me take the variable called second. You can take anything, guys, no problem. second second. second second. I want to print second as well. Let me go and check this. You can get both the things, second and first. Now you can see what is first div. Second is main. Now you can see the first element is this is, the second element is this is. This is the way of finding element from the DOM. Okay, we are able to get the elements, guys, here. So in the first variable, div information is there. In the second variable, this is. If you want to know what type of this is, you can use the type of keyword. You can use type of keyword. You will understand the div is an object or not. I'm just going to use type of keyword. Now you can submit this. Both are objects. That's the reason I told you every HTML element in JavaScript will be called as an object. Every element is an object. Every element is an object. What is an object? Object is having properties and classes. You see, yesterday in the last session we seen, right, object and its right. So now you can see obj dot username something you written, I believe. Do you remember? User dot first name something we written. I think you can recollect this again. User is an object, na. In this, first name is a property. So you can do one thing, and here you have an id now. So now you can see I want to print the id of the element also. Now you can see it is an object. Now first is an object. Now you can see first dot id, second dot id. What is the id of the first element? What is the id of the second element? The attribute directly we can add it. So this is the HTML attribute now. Those HTML attributes you can directly add it. Now you can see ID of the first one is main, ID of the second one is section. We can do like this, guys, here. This is also the valid thing. Remember carefully. We can do like this also. If you want to take some title or section title, whatever it may be, yeah, we can do like this. Every element is an object, and every element have some attributes now. Every HTML elements are having some attribute. Those attributes will becomes automatically properties of an object. I mean, what I want to tell you guys here, try to understand. I have input type equal to text now. So this is the text box. Try to see, this is very important. Input type equal to text, and name is equal to uname, and ID equal to uname. Right. So I'm going to take something. So you can take some class and styles as well. What is the ID of the element? Document dot get element by ID na. Element by ID. What is the ID of the element? Uname. Uname is the element. Where element equal to. So in this, I want to get the type of the text box. If you want to get the type of the text box, you can write element dot type. If we can write we can get the type of the element. Element dot name you want to get. Yes, you will get the name of the element. You want to get the ID of it. Yeah, every attribute. This is the element. It having the following attribute. Every attribute will be act as a property in JavaScript because it is an object now. What object contain properties and methods, right? But here every attribute of HTML element will become a property of an object automatically. So that's the reason we are able to access the ID of the element as well as I have only one attribute for this device. I mean, right, I don't have many things. I have only one attribute called ID. If you have any other attribute, that information also, for example, I'm taking title is equal to welcome. That is the title. You want to get the title of the div. Now you can see this is, I'm going to get the title title. So now you can see title will be printed on the screen. Now you can see on click the button. Can you see title is also printed? Whatever the attribute you provided, that attribute values also we can access into the DOM. This is called DOM manipulation. Slowly you will understand. Don't worry. Okay, you don't need to worry about this. The first intent, my intention is here, I want to add this txt1 to the first div. I want to add txt to something. To add this, we have a property, guys. The property is going to be txt1, right? So first dot inner html equal to txt1. Okay, now you can, this is the way of adding, guys. Second dot inner html equal to txt2. Now you can see what is going to be happen. Inner html is the predefined property. First is the div element, div dot inner html. So inner html is used, it's a property, it is used to append some html content to an element. HTML content to an element. Second dot inner HTML is also same. Whatever it may be, element first. What is the first, guys? First is referring the main div, na? I mean main div element. Second is referring the section element. Div dot inner HTML, section dot inner HTML. That is the meaning of it exactly says. Okay, right now you can check this. On click the button. Earlier the DOM was completely overridden with the thing. Now you can see on click the button. Can you see what happened? This is added into the main div, this is added into the section. They didn't overridden. This is the advantage of inner html. Wherever you want to bind the data, there you can bind it based on the id inner html property. But if you can write document.write, you understand what is the problem with the document.write. Maybe it is going to be give you a serious problem. So we cannot use document.write like this, guys. Simply we can go, always you will never use document.write. Okay, right, keep it in mind. Now you can see inner html will always add html elements directly, but in place of it, I don't want to take inner html. If you can take inner text, then you can see the problem with inner text is going to be first dot inner text, inner text T capital and remaining all small. Inner html all are capital letters, all are predefined keywords, guys. Here inner html is the predefined keyword, you have to use as it is. Inner text is also predefined, but inner text T capital only, remaining all are small, right? So here you can take txt1. Now you can check this txt1. Now you can see there is a big problem here. So it doesn't append html, guys. It doesn't append html. Everything will be treated as a text. It will append the thing, second. Now you can check this. Now if I click the button, you can see h1 tag and everything is added as a plain text to the DOM. It will see, if you want to handle with a plain text, inner text is the best thing. Now I want to bind some html elements to an element, then you have to go for inner html. No, I just want to bind only plain text to an element. If you can think, then we can simply go with the things, guys. Exactly, this is the first dot inner text and second dot inner text. So only text if you want to bind, inner text is the thing. No, I want to bind text as well as I want to bind some html, if you can feel, and we can go with the inner html. This is the best thing, inner html. Remember, I just want to tell you one thing here. What happened? It's loading. 1 minute, guys, it is struck. Right, 1 minute, let us see what inner html can do. Inner html we can use for both. It can add html plus it can add text also. Both we can do by using inner html property. But what inner text will do, inner text will add only text only. It cannot add html. Even if you can add html, you can see the output now. What is the output here? HTML is added as it is. No, I want, it is a h1 tag. H1 tag is displayed into as like h1 only, but it is displaying, it is simply adding everything as a plain text. That is inner text property. No, I want to add that element as, that is going to be an element, then you have to add these, guys. Then what is going to be happen? Now you can, I'm commenting this, now you can check this. This is going to be happen something like this. On click the button, you can check this, it is going to be added properly. This is the section and this is the main div. So this is how we can add some elements or some group of elements to an element dynamically, right, to an element. This is called DOM manipulation. I think slowly you are understanding. But the time of page loading, this div is empty and this section is empty, but on click the button, we are adding an element into the element, right? We are adding a h1 tag into the following element. This is manipulation or called, definitely this is called manipulating the element, right? Slowly you will understand, don't worry, right? So this is all the concept of adding elements. Just I'm talking about only on click event only. I'm not talking about any later. A lot of events are there. Tomorrow we will discuss those events also. Don't worry, step by step we will discuss everything. So but if we can got some flow, I think we can go somewhat faster. I'm stopping the session for the day. If you have any doubts, let me know, guys. And still, if you didn't understand, you can try to watch the video and try to ask me the same in the tomorrow session, no problem. So but it should be very, very important. Okay.